This is a video I never thought I would ever have to make. You guys saw the thumbnail, and I wanted to take some time to talk about this subject that it's going to be hard, and this is completely unscripted. I don't have a notebook or anything, but I want to preface this by saying the following. I am in no way, shape, or form anyone that is experienced with psychology. I am not a psychologist, I am not a therapist, and I don't intend to have any pretense to imply that I have any kind of authority or experience in that field. This is just a video that I wanted to make for me to voice my experience with this subject, and maybe if you're watching this and going through something similar, or someone you know is going through something similar and you're not entirely sure how to handle the situation, maybe this blog might give you an insight into that. But I am in no shape or form, like I've already said, anybody that has any right to give any advice on this subject, because I'm not qualified. However, I felt that I needed to get my voice out about this subject and to talk to you guys about this, and I apologise to you guys right now and to my future self who will be editing this video. I may get emotional, and I'm quite a stoic person, as most of you guys know, so if that happens, it's a very rare thing, but it's for very, very good reason. So I'm going to start by going back to the COVID-19 situation is very relevant to this situation, and I want to make sure that we go back far enough in this year so that you understand how long this has been going on for. So back in February, myself and my fiance, who are in a long distance relationship, I am in Scotland, he is in America, so we got engaged at BronyCon in Baltimore in August 2019. He proposed to me at the Team Fortress 2 Analysis Anarchy panel at that convention, which was amazing. And as such, trying to plan a wedding and my eventual move to America was what we were intending on doing from that point on. Sadly, because of the restrictions placed upon us because of COVID-19, we have had to put all of our plans on hold for the time being because there is a travel ban. You cannot travel from the UK to America or America to the UK at the moment. So myself and my fiance have not seen each other since August 2019, which in itself is incredibly difficult to handle, as you can imagine. But what I also want to say is that in February, myself and my fiance discovered that we needed to change the date that we had initially planned to get married on. Nothing to do with COVID-19, it was to do with my visa process. I needed a bigger time window, so we decided to get married in 2022 instead of 2021. So we did that in March. This is all relevant to the subject of the video. I was telling my family that we had decided to change the date. What I needed to talk to them about was that I actually had an appointment booked with a wedding dress studio in a town not far from where I live, and because we changed the date of the wedding and changed it to the following year, 2022, instead of 2021, I didn't really want to go to this appointment to look at wedding dresses, because I thought, well, it's not for a couple of years, so what's the point? I'm not really in the right mindset because we just changed the date, so maybe I'll just leave it. It was actually my brother-in-law that told me, no, I think you should do it. I think you should go. So I thought, this is someone that doesn't really speak that much. He's a very quiet but strong person. So when they do speak, you know you should listen. And taking all that out of the equation, he's my brother-in-law, so I'm going to listen to what he has to say anyway, because he's family. But for a man to speak up about something that is usually something that women are all over, I thought, okay, I better listen. So myself, my mother, and my sister went to the appointment, and I basically spotted the dress that I wanted right when I walked in the door. But I tried to put my poker face on. My sister, however, zeroed in right on the dress, and it was on a mannequin. So she was like, look at this. I think this is really nice. Don't you like it? I think that's really you. And I was like, yeah, it's okay. Trying to pretend that wasn't the one I was in love with. So, long story short, the lady that was helping us choose dresses, we picked like 5 other dresses together, and she said, shall we try this one on first, the one that she could tell that I was in love with? I said, no, wait till last, because I want to try the dresses on that my mum and my sister had picked out, and the lady that was helping us had also picked out a wild card as well. So there was a lot of dresses to try on. I don't like dress shopping, I don't like clothes shopping. Trying on clothes is not my idea of fun. It stresses me out because I'm quite short. I'm only 5'1". I'm also quite I'm also rather curvy. So I have a really awkward pear shape. So when I go shopping, I do not enjoy it because everything is either too long or not wide enough. Because I have a big butt and I am the girls are relatively decent size. So yeah, so dress shopping is not my idea of fun. However, that particular day, this is when I might get emotional. That particular day, I am so thankful that we went on that trip to go look at wedding dresses that day with my mother and my sister, because tragically, that was the last time that I actually got to hang out with my sister. The COVID-19 lockdown happened. It literally happened or began in the United Kingdom the day after we had that appointment. The appointment was on Friday the 13th of March, and I didn't see my sister again until late July. And we were having calls together and, messages and stuff, and during that lockdown, for those that don't know, in the United Kingdom, from the months from March till July, you were not permitted to go to other houses. You couldn't leave. You couldn't go to any public places. Everywhere was closed because of COVID-19 for that amount of time. Things have kind of started to be a bit more easier. You can go out, but you can't have people in your house. But you can meet them outside in public. I'm not even going to get started on how strange these new regulations are. That's not the subject of the video, but so I didn't see my sister from March until July, and it was July, I can't remember the exact date, but it was quite late in July where she gave us the news that she had tumours in her bowel, and that for several years prior to that, my sister had problems with IBS, irritable bowel syndrome. And this is something that, a lot of people suffer from it, and we never ever thought that it was anything more serious than that. And my sister had gone back and forth to the doctors for years, for several years, at least the last 5 years for that specific thing. And she was on various medications to try to help her digestive system, etc. She was cutting out different foods that were causing her to be ill. That wasn't working, so she would be going back and forth to the doctors for that. So sadly, in, I believe it was early August, we got the results back after all the scans she'd been having, and it was confirmed to be bowel cancer. And obviously that is absolutely a devastating thing to hear. However, it's far more devastating getting that news over the phone, because thanks to COVID-19, we couldn't go to her house, she couldn't come to our house. So we had to get that news over the phone. And she got that news over the phone as well, by the way. Before I continue, I want to say something. I am not angry at any of the doctors or nurses that were involved with my sister. I have nothing against anyone. They're all human. These things happen. However, I will say, because the tumours were found so late, it was too late to treat it. And sadly, not even 4 weeks after we got the diagnosis, my sister passed away. She passed away on the 16th of September at 7:20 in the evening. And my mum and dad and her husband were there. I was not. I had seen her 5 days prior to that, because I had been going to her house back and forth, and she was back in hospital for a little while, and then she got home, and there's a whole bunch of stuff in there that you guys don't really need to know, but long story short, we had a hospital bed put into the house so that she was comfortable. 2 weeks before that, we were basically told that she was too weak to handle any kind of chemotherapy or radiotherapy or any other treatments. She was far too weak already, because it was quite an aggressive form of cancer. The COVID-19 rules in regards to not being able to go to each other's houses was lifted for a brief time, so we were able to go into each other's houses, but we still had to keep 2 meters apart. So, and because she was very ill, out of respect for her and because of her, out of respect for her, we were instructed by her not to hug her. So it wasn't until we were told that it was incurable and it wasn't going to be treated that, that 2 meter rule was thrown out the door. Saying goodbye to a sibling is the hardest thing I have ever done. This has caused me to really reevaluate how I see life, how I see death, and how I approach processing positive and negative emotions. What do I channel that into? For me, what I decided to do was I decided I wasn't going to be angry at anyone or anything. I was just angry and sad at the situation. Having to deal with the COVID-19 lockdown, not able to meet up with friends, not able to see family, not even able to just go for a coffee somewhere or go to the gym for that brief amount of months. Lots of people, it's a very stressful thing, obviously, for anybody to go through, and I understand that. And I'm not saying that I have it the worst, because it's not competition. People are going through far worse than I am. Some people have lost family and friends and loved ones without getting the chance to say goodbye. They were stuck in hospital. They weren't able to see them at all. So I am so grateful that my sister was at home with her husband when she passed. And my mum and dad were there as well with her when she passed. I'm disappointed I wasn't there, but I am so grateful that I had such a role model in my life. She was and still is the biggest influence on me as a person, as an artist. There's a little bit of her character and our dynamic in Maddie and Mary. I'm not saying that Mary represented my sister in any way, but the dynamic between those two was very similar to the dynamic that we had, because we were like chalk and cheese. And she taught me a lot with how to lay things out. She designed the very first Mad Munchkin logo. She helped me design the business card. Basically, she was a huge part to what I've been doing for the last 7 years. So I miss her dearly, and I wanted to make this video because I feel that I need to be a lot more authentic than I've been. I want to share my life experiences more with you guys, the good and the bad. This is sadly one of the bad, and it's the worst thing that has ever happened to me. But I feel that getting these words out, being more vulnerable, just laying all the cards out on the table and just saying, hey, this is me, this is what I'm going through right now. I'm not necessarily asking for help or anything. I don't want to do that. I'm simply using YouTube as a soundboard like I always have. YouTube was and is my outlet. It kept me sane. So this is why I wanted to get this video out there. If you are going through grief, if you've lost someone close to you, whether they be a family or a friend, if they're related to you by blood or by spirit, then I want to tell you that when you don't ever feel like you're alone, because you're really not. You don't know what other people are going through. And I really do want to encourage you to reach out to people you trust and people who you know. And when I say that, I mean to speak to friends and family that you feel safe with. Speak to a therapist or a psychologist if you feel that you need that. Do that. Because not talking about this stuff is not healthy. But also make sure that you don't completely overexpose yourself to social media. When you're grieving, like some people do find that posting things on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, etc. is the right way to go. For me, it wasn't. It's been 4 weeks since my sister passed away. I needed to give myself time to process that. I posted the news on my personal Facebook page and on the Mad Munchkin Facebook page and Twitter about a week after, because obviously you need to inform friends and family first, because there's nothing worse than learning of a death of someone via social media when you should have been told by a person that's close to you already. Social media is a brilliant tool, but that's all it is. It's a tool. It should never absolutely dominate your life. Ever, because it can be taken away like that. Just like a loved one can. You never know what the future is going to bring. What I want to end this video on is that I am so thankful and grateful for everyone's kind words, everyone's support. Might it be just sending me a message on Twitter or Facebook, or sending me an email, or even some of you have sent me cards and stuff, which is amazing, and I am so thankful for that. And I never want to take any of you guys for granted, ever. If I ever show signs of that, please tell me. I have a brilliant circle of friends in real life here in Scotland, and as well as my friends in America, and I know I've got fans in Europe as well, and I've got my fiance and my extended family and the my YouTube friends as well, who have been all of these people have been a part of my life for so long, and I don't know where I would be without you guys, basically. So I'm just thankful, really. I'm going to end this video before I start crying. And this video isn't being monetized, by the way, at all. However, I want to say that we did a fundraiser for a charity that's called Marie Curie in the United Kingdom, and that is a charity that is an organization that has nurses that specifically care for people with terminal illnesses and help them through the process of what what a terminal illness means. They basically help them till their last days, practically, mentally and physically, and they also help the family of that person. My sister passed away. She was only 36, and her husband had only been married 6 years. Regardless of how young or old you are, when a family member passes, there's a lot to sort out. So we somehow, that fundraiser reached over, it reached about, if memory serves, just under £2,300, which is just under $3,000, which is fantastic. It's amazing. And at some point, I do want to do some kind of fundraiser as well for a specific charity. Might it be Marie Curie or cancer research or something else? But it's not the right time yet, but I want to figure out that. But when I do, I will let you guys know, because I know some people have been asking, is there something we can donate to help us out? We don't want anything. My family don't want any handouts or anything like that. We would much rather that any kind of donations go straight toward the charities, because we want to help other families that have gone through or are going through and will go through, unfortunately, will go through this situation. So that's what I want to end the video on. Alright guys, thanks for listening.